Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for today's video. We're going to drop the tea on 8 new fragrances that I have in hand, either in full bottle or travel spray form, and that I have tried out for you. And I have some thoughts. Some are good, some are bad. I'm going to jump right in with Angel's Share on the Rocks. I have the original Angel's Share. I've had it probably for about 5 years. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection. Die-hard fan of it for this time of year, for fall, going into the winter months. It has both this elegant sophistication and this super duper playfulness from the spices in it, and something that feels like or smells like an apple pie accord. It's got cinnamon, it's got a liquor accord, it has this warm, ambery, woody base, and it just feels like golden, cozy, and warm in nature, and it's fun. The spices in it are intoxicating for fall and winter. Some might consider it a perfect fragrance to wear on Christmas Day or on Thanksgiving Day, for example. It's had at least one flanker, maybe two. I haven't kept up with the flankers, but this one is called On the Rocks. And the primary difference is that this one has a citrus accord to it. And so it's supposed to be primary notes of bitter orange, cognac, and sandalwood. And the brand says it's a refreshing interpretation of the original Angel's Share. So I really enjoyed sampling this. I've got a travel spray of it. It is pricey for a travel spray. I think it's $50 for the travel spray alone. I mean, Kilian prices are up there. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that I liked it before I thought about purchasing a full bottle. And I will tell you, it does have this super intoxicating, really happy yet warm, inviting and friendly opening accord of this warm citrus. It's funny with citrus, like people either love citrus and find it zesty and refreshing, and it reminds them of scents that you might wear in warmer weather to feel cool and fresh and clean. And then you have a camp of people that really stay away from citrus because for them it just comes off like a stringent house cleaner. Is it Mr. Pledge? Mr. Clean. Smells like lemon pledge, or Mr. Clean is what I meant to say. Anyway, you can definitely smell the citrus on the opening. It is like almost intoxicating. And I really enjoy the scent. As it dried down though, it became more woody and boozy. Those were the two primary accords, which are fine. I still think it's a great fragrance on the dry down. I found that it lasted quite a long time and was rather projecting, and it leaned a little bit more masculine on the dry down. The opening, though, and probably for the first maybe like 30 minutes of the fragrance experience, I nearly was thinking about purchasing a full bottle because it felt so full bodied, rich, and warm, like Angel Share, almost like that fragrance exactly, with this infusion of a warm, bright, zesty citrus that was inviting and intoxicating. However, the dry down got a little tad masculine. Nothing wrong with that. I've got plenty of masculine fragrances in my collection. I still think this is a wonderful one, but I think this is one that, you're a fan of the House of Kilian, you're a collector, you enjoy the variety of woody, boozy fragrances that they put out. You like that sort of side of the fragrances that they do. And you want something like an angel share that might be more appropriate for gentlemen to wear. It's lovely. I think women can wear this as well quite easily. But for me, this is something that I would probably prefer to smell on my husband than myself. That said, I have no regrets about getting the travel spray. I'm going to happily pass this along to my husband if he's interested in it. And if not, it'll be up on Mercari for sale if you're interested in that. So the summary is it's angel share with an infusion of citrus and maybe the cinnamon toned down. And then it dries down into a boozy, woody, lovely fragrance, particularly for this time of year. Just maybe not necessarily my cup of tea or my cup of liquor, cymbal crash, da-dong, dong, tsh, for this time of year. Let's go next to the highly anticipated Milk Orchid from Commodity. I purchased this as soon as I got the notification from Sephora. I was very curious about this fragrance. This is in collaboration with Emma from Perfumerism. She has a channel here on YouTube and apparently has a huge following on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. Should I get on TikTok? I don't know how I feel about TikTok. There are some days, I mean, I have an account on there, but I'm never on there. There's some days that I find it really amusing and interesting, and other days where it just feels like a giant time suck. I just don't know if I wanna create content on there. Anyway, I know there's a lot of perfume content on there, and that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about this fragrance. In collaboration with Commodity, a fragrance line that I really enjoy. You know, I love Milk Expressive and Milk Bold and a number of others from that line. Really, really great fragrances. And this sounded great. Also, the perfumer here is Christelle Laprade. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And I have respect for her fragrance creations based on some of the Mind Games fragrances that she created that I absolutely adore. So I thought maybe this will be a slam dunk for me. I'm of two minds when it comes to this fragrance. I gotta keep it real with you guys. The opening of this fragrance is delectable. It was like I sprayed this on and I said, yes, this is worth all the hype that it's getting. I love it so much. Let me spray myself down with this right away. And I did. And then it started to dry down. And then I thought to myself, oh, I've smelled you before. And I don't know that I wanna smell like you again. And so let me tell you what I mean by that, and let me respray the opening to kinda refresh my memory here about what's so special about the opening. So let me tell you, the notes here are fig milk, coconut cream, almond blossom at the top, and then in the middle, you get vanilla orchid, warm cotton, magnolia, and then macadamia milk and sandalwood. So with the exception of the fig milk, all of the other notes are sort of dreamy to me. The opening smells super duper tropical lush. You might have heard this in other reviews that people are saying that this smells like mostly like a coconut cream kind of fragrance, like a musky coconut cream. I get why people are saying that. For me, the opening of this is this super luscious floral. If you've been with my channel for a while, I am madly in love with a fragrance called Sensual Orchid by LM Parfums. I really, really love the orchid note in there. It's bright, almost like if I had to assign a color, it's like this vibrant, beautiful pink, cotton candy-esque floral note that I love. It's sugary, it's sweet. So I get that at the top of this. I don't know if that's intended or what's supposed to come across, but it feels very tropical and lush, almost like sweet florals meets tropical suntan lotion that is super duper expensive, like Lux suntan lotion. And I thought, ooh, this is amazing. I'm gonna love this fragrance. This is gonna be for me. And I can't wait to talk about it. And then as it dried down, what I ended up getting was this sort of musky, figgy and not the kind of fig that I really enjoy. Like with fig, if it is sweet and fruity, I really tend to enjoy that. And then there's a green fig. I don't find this green either. It was kind of somewhere in the middle, almost like the smell that you get in a fig Newton, like that kind of smell. If you've eaten a fig Newton cookie or cracker or whatever you call it, and you bite into it, there's this sort of musty smell in there that also is sweet, and I don't know, if you know, you know. Like, if there's something a little earthy about it too. I've worn this now 2 or 3 times. I did a full day wear on this, and then I did other sprays here and there, and even sprayed it on my husband just to see, like, what am I smelling from far away on this? And I got a little bit of muskiness, on the dry down for me, just slightly, like, it just wasn't for me, and I feel like on the dry down, it smelled like woody coconut musky fragrances that I've smelled before that I think are fine, and I've had my time with them. This is my own personal opinion as it relates to me and my preferences. Maybe you're in a different place with fragrances that you enjoy. But that coconutty, woody, musky dry down is a scent kind of profile that I have enjoyed before, kind of moved away from, and don't really want to go back to. And so, from that point of view, that perspective, that standpoint, I felt like this wasn't one that I wanted to keep in my collection. So, that's what I have to say about this. It is long lasting. Do I think that it is delightful? Yes, overall. Did I get that same kind of, like, musty thing that I got on the first try? No, it didn't happen, like, the second and third time that I tried it, but I did get that on the first try and just wanna share that. But the opening of this is so pretty. So I can see why people love this. If the what I described to you sounds good to you, if you're into that sort of like a sweeter coconut, musky, woody dry down, check this out. I will also say this about the packaging because it's different than other packaging, and I really don't know the reason why. In fairness, I haven't explored it, but it came in this kind of container. Like, the artwork on this is beautiful, right? This floral on here, and then on the inside was this. So I'm not sure if this is like a sustainability thing. I was looking on the Sephora website and couldn't find it. If you know, drop it down in the comments. You know, at the end of the day, this is also waste. I would much prefer a box, me personally, and so that's neither here nor there. The reason that it looks like this is because you get the bottle, and then you get a spray, a travel spray that you can fill up, and I can't find it right now, but it comes with a like a pour spout. Is it in there? Are you in there, pour spout? Oh yeah, here we go. This little pour spout that you would put, I guess, into the fragrance, you can screw it on to pour the fragrance from the bottle into this travel spray. And then it comes with a little cap if you wanted to take the atomizer off of the bottle. That's a lot of contraptions for me. I mean, I appreciate what they're going for here, And maybe some people will love that it comes like that. So just to be clear, overall, I think this is a fine fragrance. The opening is really what's attractive to me. The dry down is maybe less interesting for my personal preference. You might enjoy that. And so I would encourage you to try it. And I'm going to end up either putting this on Mercari or in a giveaway. I'll decide by the time I post this video if I'm going to put it on Mercari. And if I do, I'll put it right here, and my Mercari link is in the description box below if you want to go check if this is available and you're interested and want to see if you can get a bit of a bargain on it, because it is, at least on the day that I'm filming this, sold out on Sephora. I'm not sure if it's still available on the commodity site, but this is a hot item and people are really into this. A lot of people are loving this. So, take my opinion with a grain of salt. Then I want to go to one that was sent in PR that I initially loved, and then when I did the full day wear, I was like, I'm kind of tired of you, and I don't think that we can be friends. I'm not going to invite you into my inner circle, but I do want to talk about this fragrance and give it its fair shake. So this is called Sin Cherry from Scentologia. This was sent over to me to try out by ScentSplit. So thank you so much to ScentSplit for sending this over. And another one that I'm going to talk about. I was excited to try this. I know a lot of people are over the cherry craze. I'm not over it yet. Like, I'm still loving cherry myself, although there've been a lot of releases. In fact, I've still got my eye on the new, is it called Sirène Privé from Fragrance Du Bois? I still got my eye on that because I have the original Sirène and I love it. So this here, the opening of this is really juicy, almost like a candy cherry, like a hard candy. If you ever open a package of cherry candy, there's this delicious whiff that comes and like smacks you in the face and makes your mouth water, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to grab one of those and taste it. It's that. It's a really juicy opening of cherry. There are a lot of notes in here that I can't say that I pick up. Other reviewers have said they pick those up. So it might just be me and my little old factory bulbs up in my nose that are like, oh, we're not playing around with those notes. Get them out of here. By the way, this is a Scent Split exclusive, so you'd have to shop for it there if you're interested. And they have decants and all of that. So you can try it out. All of this is linked down in the description box. Don't take my word for it. Try it out yourself. So here's the description. In a moment of mischief or genius, he, the perfumer, decided to experiment. Without a word, he swapped the vial of mango for something more provocative, cherry, bold. Y'all, I'm sitting up in this room by myself talking about perfumes, cracking myself the heck up. Bold, juicy, loud. What emerged was Sin Cherry, an unapologetic twist on Synergy. I haven't tried the original Synergy, so I can't comment on that. So let me just go straight to the notes here. The top is cherry, raspberry, cassis, pear. And then in the middle, jasmine, rose, violet, mango, rosewood. And the base, patchouli, moss, vanilla, caramel, cedarwood, musk, amber. That's a whole load of notes. For me, the opening is a really juicy cherry, like I mentioned. And then as it settles down, it's like cherry with raspberry, with this sort of woodiness to it, and this kind of like a musk and a woodiness. I wore this yesterday, full day. Let me back up. When I first tried this on was before bedtime, which I know is crazy. This is a very strong, projecting, long-lasting fragrance. So there's that, like it gets checks on that. And I just sprayed a little bit. As it was settling down, my husband kept getting wafts of it, and he said, "Whatever you have sprayed on smells really expensive and sophisticated." And I thought, "Great, this is a winner. I can't wait to do a full day wear." And then I did a full day wear yesterday, and admittedly, it was a hot day. Maybe I need to try this again in the winter, give it a fair shake, but it felt a little overwhelming. Mind you, I did a good generous spray, and it is a very strong fragrance, but I got exhausted with the scent profile after a while. I didn't find it enjoyable to smell the straight up cherry and then raspberry, as I mentioned. I never got mango. I never got the other florals. None of that ever came to me. I never got pear. I just got straight cherry. I didn't get any sort of like vanilla and caramel. It was just like that. Maybe patchouli cedarwood combo is what I was picking up. A hint of amber, musk, that kind of thing. And I still thought it smelled nice. Like my husband kept saying too, because we were together yesterday, it smells nice, but it's not my favorite. And I thought the same thing. It smells nice, but it's not my favorite. I do like the bottle that is cherry in color, and I like that it's long lasting and projecting. I don't dislike it. I quite like it. But for me, the question is, do I like this as much as the other cherries in my collection, enough to give it a space on the shelf? Because I'm loving Siren. I still love my lost cherry from Tom Ford. Don't nobody talk no smack about my lost cherry. I love my overpriced, not long lasting lost cherry. I love Duchessa. I love French Defense from Mind Games with the cherry note, and I think I have one other cherry prominent fragrance. And this is the one that I would pick the last over all of those. And so for that reason, I'm gonna put this in a giveaway. I can't sell this on Mercari since it is gifted, but I am gonna put it in a giveaway. So watch for that. I think I'm gonna end up doing a giveaway maybe a little bit closer to the holidays. And I've got a bunch of fragrances that I'll give away at once and sort of mail them out to subscribers as my gift to all of you for being so cool and hanging out with me and spending so much of your time with me as we talk about fragrance. So, anyway, I'm going to pass on this, is the long and short. Do I think it's nice? Yes, I do. Do I think it's worth sampling? Absolutely. And if you don't have any cherries in your collection and want to explore, this is a good one to explore. I just have some super fabulous ones that I would reach for first. So, that is my comment on this one. Moving along, I finally had an opportunity to try out My Devotion from Dolce Gabbana. Love that they made the travel spray pink like the bottle. I think that's super cute. The fragrance itself is one that I think people who enjoy this line and who are into gourmand fragrances, because the original Devotion is a pretty gourmand fragrance and so is the Intent, they're probably not going to like this. Let me know down below if you are one of those people that enjoys gourmand fragrances, but you don't like florals. Like if something is floral, it turns you off. I'm a big floral lover, so I don't understand that thinking, but I appreciate that, people have different preferences. And so I don't judge that. But that said, this fragrance is actually considered a floral gourmand, which I find interesting. To me, this is more of a soft floral fragrance. If I had my druthers and could classify this, that's what I would say. It's got pear blossom and black currant as top notes. In the heart, they are featuring peony, and it's saying that it reveals some green nuances and delicate sweetness. And then in the they, meaning Ulta, I'm looking on the Ulta website. In the base, it's warm, sensual facets of Madagascar vanilla. I think this is really pleasant. This is the kind of fragrance that is soft, ethereal, a tad fluffy, maybe more like airy and wispy than truly like fluffy in terms of the density. And it's very, very feminine, very girly, and dainty. This is a dainty fragrance. I would absolutely consider a full bottle of this. I don't know that I'm interested in this as we enter fall, only because I am not detecting a bunch of warmth in this like I would typically want for a fall fragrance, nor am I detecting maybe meatier base notes like amber and woodiness and maybe even patchouli, those kinds of notes that you might find in the base of a fragrance, sandalwood, that really give it some depth and oomph. This stays lighter. Oh my goodness. Pardon me. I'm showing my lingerie here. Wardrobe malfunction. Okay, we're back in action. This stays lighter. It is. It's very wispy. It's almost like I don't know if it's milky or creamy, maybe somewhere in between those two textures. And yes, you get a lot of peony. Peony to me as a note, if I would describe it, it would be a very subdued version of a rose note. It's most familiar to me, or most similar rather, to like a baby rose. Like when a rose first is cut and you sniff it, it feels, or rather, it smells like the lightest version of itself, rather than a very mature rose that has bloomed and it's giving off its full rosiness. When it's still in a tight bud and you smell it, there's like that tenderness of the velvety part of the petals. You can smell like a nuance of rose, but it's not fully bloomed, and it maybe even is a little bit fresh and a tad green. That is what this smells like to me, even though it's not rose, it's peony, but that's what peony as a note smells like to me. Super delightful, super delightful. If you have smelled Dawn by Brown Girl Jane, this is kind of reminding me of that, almost like a even a much lighter version. All of that to say, I think this is gorgeous. And if you are in the southern hemisphere and entering your spring into summer, this would be one to check out. Those of you in the northern hemisphere that are in areas of the country or the your nation, wherever you are, that are still experiencing warm temperatures, this might be a great one to check out. I think it's very, very pretty. Delicate. It smells like the color of the bottle, if you can imagine what that would smell like. Peony, soft fluffiness, very girly, a little bit somewhere between milky and creamy. And then there's like this fresh, slight greenness very far in the distance. I only know to say that because it says that in the description. And so then I'm like, oh, yeah, if I didn't know that, I would not smell this and think this smells green. I would think that it smelled a little fresh. All that to say, I think this is a big win. So I'm glad that I picked up the travel spray and we'll, pardon me, something fell here. We'll definitely be going through that travel spray and maybe considering a bottle. I don't know. I might get a wild hair and pick it up if I see it on sale. So then let's get into the two new Kayali fragrances. I almost ordered the full bottles because they both sounded really good to me, but I got the little minis just to try them out. I'm glad I did. I still think, well, I'll tell you my thoughts on these in a minute. Okay, let's start with the Oudgasm Chocolate Oud 11. So the notes here are very interesting: spiced rum, velvet orris, incense, dark cocoa, chocolate oud. Y'all, let me tell you something about this perfume right here. When I first sprayed this on, I was taken aback. I said, "Oh my gosh, this smells so amazing and delicious." And Angel Share, is that you? I mean, this smells nearly identical to Angel Share, or maybe even Ojan from Parfums de Marly. And those two are similar. There's similarities between Angel Share and Ojan. Ojan has a honey note and maybe is a little amped up on the cinnamon in comparison to Angel Share. That family of fragrances, this smells like. Now, that is the opening of this fragrance where I'm almost like, come on, did we just get a dupe of Angel Share? Did I get punked? Where's Ashton Kutcher? When is he going to jump out? And then as it started to settle down, it shifted a little bit. And I started to get more of this chocolatey nuance, like a creamy chocolate nuance. And it's a very perfumey nuance. I wouldn't say that it smells edible like a chocolate bar or gourmand in any way. It almost reminds me of the same kind of chocolate that you get in Fève Gourmand by Guerlain, or maybe even Via Cavour from Xerjoff. It's quite delightful. So in that sense, it still smells a lot like Angel Share, but it does have that chocolatey nuance to it that I think makes it slightly different and different enough to own if you're interested in it. Kind of reminds me of the whole controversy of Rare from Rare Beauty smelling like Burberry Goddess, except without the lavender. It's that same sort of deal where this smells like Angel Share, but maybe the cinnamon is slightly toned down, and there's an addition, and the booziness is toned down, but there's the addition of this chocolate note that kind of sets it apart ever so slightly. I think this is great. If you don't have, look, for me, I'm not sure. I'm on the fence about this one. There's a part of me that's like, I think I really want this because it smells great, especially as we go into fall. And for me, it could be like a sexy, spooky season kind of scent, right? But if you have Angel Share, if you have, pardon me, I keep showing y'all my articles of clothing. Get it together, Veronica. Angel Share, Ojan. I forget the name of the Montal one. Give me a second. Honey Oud is what it's called, or Oud from Montal, Caltet Night from Attar. That whole family of fragrances that smell apple pie, boozy, cinnamony for fall. Maybe you don't need this if you don't have any of those, and especially if you're a Kayali fan and or you appreciate a subtle chocolate in fragrances. I have to give some props to Oudgasm Chocolate Oud. I think it's very, very nice. Very, very nice. Now, some of you may say it's identical to Angel Share and, she tried to dupe it and whatever. I don't know. I don't get into all of that. I'm just telling you, it smells like Angel Share. I have no idea what was intended with this formula. But I like it. I think it's good. It had nice lasting power. I found it very sensual and sexy, and it's a winner. Now let's get into the other one, Milky Musk Oud 30. Here the notes are pink pepper, strawberry cream, incense, suede santal, white musk, and silver oud. I think this is delightful. I will say, those of you that enjoy wearing feminine fragrances may find this a little too unisex for your taste. I don't detect any sweetness or like really distinct femininity in this fragrance. I feel like it's milky, musky. I have smelled fragrances like this before. The first one that came to mind is from Molten Brown Milk Musk. That was one of the first ones that popped up. I also got a little bit of Le Musc and La Peau from Pierre Guillaume. If you've tried any of those that smell like skin scenty, slightly milky, musky, a little woody, there are others. Any of those fragrances that have sandalwood and some milky tones and musky tones that are kind of skin scentish, this is in that same family. I think this is quite nice as well. Because I have a number of fragrances for me that smell similar, I probably will not gravitate toward a bottle of this. If you like what I described and you don't have anything like that in your collection, or if you want to collect those types of fragrances, this is lovely. Again, do not expect it to smell feminine. That is my opinion. I think it is quite unisex. So I think both of these are solid releases. They are wins in terms of both being lovely formulas. They've got decent longevity. The Oudgasm Chocolate Oud one lasts longer and is more projecting. The Milky Musk Oud one is a little bit softer to the skin and more skin scent-ish. Nice little bubble, but it's not quite as long lasting and projecting as the other one. Let me know if you've tried these below. I am very, very curious to hear your thoughts. I have not seen a lot of reviews on these just yet, at least as of the day that I'm filming this video rather. Then The next one was sent to me to try out by Quince, and I actually have some of their candles that I want to talk about as well. I really like Quince. I've been shopping with them for a year. This is not a paid sponsorship. They just sent this to me to try out. They did give me a discount code, and I'll put that below if you're interested. But I've been shopping with them for a long time. I've got shoes from Quince. I have leather bags from Quince. I have cashmere sweaters. I have silk shirts. I have pants. I have blazers. I love Quince. So anyway, when they reached out to ask if I was interested in trying more products, yes and yes, send them on over to me. So I'll be reviewing some of the clothing over on my other channel. I got to pick out some nice pieces to chat with you all about. So that's Essential Veronica. If you want to do like lifestyle and makeup and life chats and life reflections, head on over to that channel and be a friend over there. But anyway, about their perfumes, I think they have maybe five-ish or so on the website. They sell out quickly because they're pretty affordable. This one is called Mineral. All the bottles look like this. One of the things to know about Quince is that they are bringing you affordable versions of other products, but still high quality. So this one is very similar to Wood Sage and Sea Salt from Jo Malone, which is a fragrance that I liked, but had trouble thinking about purchasing a full bottle because it just was so fleeting on me. The description of this fragrance is that it is the scent of escape. Mineral is an ode to the coast. Sea salt on warm skin, sage carried on a breeze, driftwood washed clean by the tide, crisp, earthy, and completely unbound. I do think that it is crisp. To me, it is woody and clean. And I really like that sort of as a scent that you might wear in a work environment. Any situation where all you wanted to do was smell on the cleaner, fresher side, and you didn't necessarily want to impress people with this, really bombastic scent like Syn.Cherry, like make a statement with your fragrance. You just want to smell chic and clean, and this fits the bill. This bottle, I think, is a 1.7 ounce and it's $50. They also have fragrances inspired by Lost Cherry and several others, so I would encourage you to check them out. The other thing they sent me to try out are candles, so I wanted to share a couple that I picked up. One is Pear Freesia. This one I'm burning in my office right now. Amazing. It does have pear and it has this sort of very clean, fresh, almost soapy floral smell to it that really does fill the space. And I think that these are $25, $24 for this candle. And look, if you're into candles, you know how candles can get crazy on the pricey side. So this is sun ripened pear, delicate white freesia, and a subtle hint of patchouli and earthy warmth in the base, and it's gorgeous. You could smell this throughout the whole first floor of my house when I burned it. And then they also sent over English rose, which smells like a rose fragrance, very clean, fresh, uplifting rose. And so it's beautiful. So this will be next after that for my office setting. Check out Quince in general, and I'll be doing some of the clothing review over on my other channel if you're interested. And thank you to Quince for reaching out. Love Quince. And I'm shopping on there frequently. Like every week I'm on Quince. Like, what y'all got now? What's new? Let me see what I need to add to my wardrobe. Then we have another scent split exclusive. This was also sent to me to try out. This one is from Jousset. It's called Oh My Gourmand, like OMG, Oh My Gourmand. I do like these bottles better than the older bottles from the brand. I have trouble with this. This is not for me. This is too overtly gourmand, but it is loved by many people that have tried it. I mean, this like I have cavities just sniffing sniffing this. When you first spray it on, it is like super duper buttery. For me, unfortunately, almost to a nauseating extent. The top notes are orange, grapefruit, red currant. But for me, I get very, very, very little, like almost like a whisper of citrus in the fragrance. What stands out to me is some of these other notes in the middle. It says meringue, French vanilla cream. Yes, this smells like a very heavy cream dessert, and it reminds me of when you have had enough to eat. Like Thanksgiving dinner is over, for example, and someone is trying to shove that very heavy dessert in your face, and you're like, oh, I can't take another bite of food, and especially not that. This is nauseatingly sweet to me. Unfortunately, I've had that experience with a number of fragrances from Juset, and it's to the point where it gets overwhelming as you wear it. The base notes are orris, rice powder, baked butter cookie. Yes, you definitely get cookie. It's like a cream filled pastry puff or something, and it's too much of it. It does settle down a little bit as it dries down, but I'm not sure I can sort of tolerate that initial blast of super in your face heavy creaminess enough to enjoy the dry down of this. And my husband very much disliked this on me when I tried it on. He thought it was too much. He goes, that needs to go back. That is foul. So I have to turn this down, unfortunately. I will put this in the giveaway as well. I will say this, for those of you that like that sort of thing, if you wanna smell ooey gooey, dripping, delicious, like a melted something, a melted, beautiful, delicious dessert that is, like, super duper decadent and creamy and buttery. If you like that, you might wanna try this fragrance. Then it would be for you. There are decants of this, of course, on ScentSplit if you'd like to try it. I will say it's not unreasonably priced in today's market. This is a 50 ml, 1.7 ounce for $145. And I have a code for ScentSplit too, Veronica 10 for the whole site. Anything you want to try out on there. So it's too much for me. I can't do this. I have to pass. I really do. But this is for the true gourmand lover where you want to smell like a straight up snack. This will get you there. This will get you there. So just to recap, the winners for me today are the two Kayali fragrances, particularly the one that has the chocolate in it. My Devotion gets a thumbs up from me. Mineral, I think, is lovely. I forgot to say that this is longer lasting than Wood Sage and Sea Salt, which is the whole appeal of this. This is projecting and long lasting, which is great. I would say that Sin Cherry and Milk Orchid are in the middle. These will appeal to people. They just don't appeal to me enough to keep them, right? For different reasons, but they're nice. And then Angel Share on the Rocks is a pass for me only because it's a little bit more masculine than I would personally like, but I think it's a thumbs up overall as a scent. And the same thing for Oh Gourmand. Oh My Gourmand, excuse me. This is way, way too gourmand for my taste. Unwearable for me, but I think true gourmand lovers may enjoy this fragrance. So those are my thoughts. I'm super interested to hear yours in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? Have you tried these? Do you have your eye on any of these? Give us the juicy details down below. Thanks for hanging with me. See you in the next video.